Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this session. We'll just allow some people to join us to make sure everyone's in the room before we start, but just welcome you this morning. Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the last day of the GCRF AgriFood Africa virtual missions that we've been running over the summer. As we draw near to the end of the summer here in the UK, you might be able to hear the rain in the background. So it's been a fantastic summer for events for us, and we're very happy just with the engagement and just all the events that we've been able to run. So this is sort of week 6, as it were, a day of activities, and I'm sure that you'll find the events that we've got very useful, and we look forward to your thoughts and engagements that will come out of it. So just let me introduce myself. My name's Tim Esseder, and I work for the KTN on the AgriFood Africa programme. I specialise in aquaculture as well, so that's sort of my background. And we have some fantastic speakers this morning that are presenting in various formats. This is a session really for you, and we've called this one Other Opportunities, because there is a range of different opportunities, I guess, that you might want to be aware of, and so we wanted to draw attention to those. This is being recorded and will be available on YouTube shortly afterwards, so if you do miss anything, you can re-watch that at your convenience. So just a couple of housekeeping points. If you wouldn't mind staying muted throughout each session, just to avoid any background noise. If you do have questions, we really do want to get those from you, so type in the Q&A box in Zoom, and you can ask your questions to the panelists, and we'll take it that way. And let me just flag as well that there is a networking session at the end of the day, so do come along to that, and that's a great way to find like-minded people that you could collaborate with on a potential project. So I encourage you to make full use of that. So this morning we're going to look at the other opportunities, and then at 11 o'clock we're going to have our theme-focused discussion on livestock, and then in the afternoon from 1 p.m. we will have a major crops discussion, and then the networking event, like I mentioned, from 2:30 up till 16:30 UK time. That's an opportunity for you there. So today I'll just giving you a brief welcome. We're going to have Toyosi, he's prepared a video for us because his internet could be a bit unstable, but he's working for DIT, Department for International Trade, and he's going to talk about his role and how you can sort of engage with him and his organisation. Then we've got Richard Lamb from Innovate UK, who's going to be talking to us about the KTPs, and then I'll finish off the session by talking about the Innovation Awards. We've got round 2 coming up, and then we'll have some question time at the end. So without further ado, we'll hear from Toyosi and listen to what he's got to say to us.
Hi, my name is Toyosi Ogunshola. I am a trade account manager with the Department for International Trade. My presentation today is on DIT Agritech export opportunities in Africa and DIT offer. Let me start with a bit background of who we are as an organization and what we do. The Department for International Trade, DIT, was established in July 2016 to secure the best deals for the UK as we establish new trading relationships worldwide. This was part of the industrial strategy. In partnership with the industry, the government developed a long-term agri-tech strategy. This is to ensure the knowledge and insight from the UK's world-leading science base are translated into benefits for the society and the economy, both at home and around the world. The strategy was launched in July 2013 with £160 million of funding. DIT brings together foundations from 4 existing organizations: UK Trade and Investment, Trade Policy Group, UK Export Finance, and the Great Campaign. Our department brings together trade policy, promotion, and export finance. We are tasked with creating an independent trade policy for the first time in over 4 decades and increasing the number of companies that export and the overall value of exports. We are a global organization. DIT have a total of 174 offices around the world based in British High Commissions. We have 2,850 staffs and we are present in 109 markets. DIT has an international network providing global market insights and helps businesses win trading opportunities. Our teams around the world are driving demand for British goods, services, and inward investment opportunities. There are 3 major barriers to exports. Here are some of them we've come across in due course of our interactions with some of the UK SMEs. There is the initial inactivity, the practical, and the emotional export barriers. The inertia inactivity comes in 2 different forms, the passive inertia and the active inertia. The passive inertia is when SMEs are not even thinking about exporting. They are content with their services in the UK and they still think there is room for them to expand in the UK. While the active inertia is the fear of the unknown. This is when the SME thinks that exporting is too stressful and is too much of a task. Practical export barriers. This is uncertainties around logistics, tax complexities in different countries, tax regulations and quality assurance. There is also the practical aspect whereby the companies fear for the needs of having a physical presence in these markets, the burden of traveling, lack of warehouse and staffing issues. There is also concern about finance. Some of them think export is costly and they might not even get paid if they send their goods abroad. There is also a concern about the forex exchange rate and currency issues. Also, as part of the practical export barriers, we have companies that want to focus on their existing business. They can't spare the time to look into new ventures. They also worry about the need to oversee the business. There are some SMEs that is not aware of the support that is available to them, like organizations like ourselves and other government agencies. There are some SMEs that are worried about cultural differences, language barrier, and forex exchange issues. And lastly, we have the emotional export barriers. These are companies when they feel that they are at the bottom of the heap, that they are too small of a business to do exporting, and also there's the fear of the loss of control, that this is going to disrupt their business. Lastly, we have the worries about the absence of trusted networks. There are some UK companies or SMEs that prefer to do business with their inner circles. How can DIT help? The Department for International Trade, DIT, helps the UK agri-tech sector to do more business internationally. We help UK companies build networks and create business connection. We help identify and access export opportunities and sales leads. We help UK companies exhibit at major international trade fairs, and we also take some UK businesses on a trade mission. The DIT also help UK companies partner internationally in technology innovation. We also help UK companies overcome challenges of doing business overseas. At DIT, we focus both on trade and investment activities. I have colleagues that their major focus is encouraging inward investment into the UK. As we all know, in the UK we have a world-class science, and also we have a progressive food and farming chain supply. The business environment is very dynamic. On this map, it illustrates our activities around the world for both trade and investment. The areas covered in blue are where we have investment focus, and the areas shaded in red are where we have trade focus. The areas shaded in purple are where we have both trade and investment opportunities, and the area in pink are our non-target markets, but we've had some success. Also, there's been new opportunities emerging from the Central Europe network and also the Middle East, Afghanistan and Pakistan area. As a team, since we started in 2016, we have been responsible for export wins worth over 740 million from our high-value campaign markets and 540 million from our non-high-value campaign markets. On the investment side, we have been responsible for 128 foreign direct investment project wins, and we have also encouraged 955 million worth of investment into the UK. We have been responsible for creating 1,786 new jobs, and we have been helpful in safeguarding about 727 new jobs. DIT have 10 focus markets in Africa, namely Angola, Kenya, Nigeria, Tanzania, Morocco, Mozambique, South Africa, Uganda, Zambia. Here is an overview of the UK agri-tech markets in sub-Saharan region. Starting with Nigeria, this is a lower middle income country, the largest economy in Africa with a population of over 195 million. The annual GDP is calculated to be over $504 billion. The official language is English. Angola, a middle income country, population is estimated to be over 31 million and a GDP estimated to be over 124 billion. The official language is Portuguese. South Africa, upper middle income country, second largest country in Africa, with a population estimated to be over 59 million and GDP of 369 million. The official language is English. Ethiopia, lower middle income country, among the top performers in real GDP growth, with a population estimated to be over 109 million. The GDP is estimated to be over 103.607 billion. The official language is English. Kenya, lower middle income country, the third largest economy in sub-Saharan Africa, with a population estimated to be over 47 million and a GDP estimated to be over 109 billion. The official language is English. Uganda, lower income country. Agriculture sector constitutes 23.6% of the GDP and employs 66% of the population. The population is estimated to be over 42 million. The GDP is estimated to be over 30.765 billion. The official language is English. Tanzania, upper middle income country. Political stability remains the cornerstone of the economic growth. Population is estimated to be over 56 million and the GDP is estimated to be over 61 billion. The official language is English. Zambia, lower middle income country. A peaceful country that is moving towards a liberal market economy, with a population estimated to be over 17 million and a GDP that is estimated to be over $23 billion. The official language is English. Why Africa? There is a huge scale of opportunity in Africa. Agriculture and agribusiness is said to be a 1 trillion industry in Africa by 2030. This is according to the World Bank. Agriculture averages 24% of GDP across the continent. This is also according to the World Bank. Africa export of goods and agricultural products is worth 35 to 40 billion a year. Import amounts to 45 billion to 50 billion a year and $6 billion a year on imports of agricultural inputs. This is according to McKinsey. Where is the opportunity? There is opportunity in farm input business, commodity traders, processing and innovation. There is also opportunities for aid-funded business. What's needed to succeed? Prioritization in a few countries and the value chain is very important. This means disaggregating the growth potential and enabling condition. On-the-ground engagement is also very important. This is having a presence in the country and visiting the country and getting to know your customers. Understand the political economy, fit the narrative, be prepared to invest in the access challenges. And lastly, innovative financing structures can be very helpful. As a result of COVID-19, most African countries have declared agriculture and agricultural-related activity as an essential service, and they have made an effort to keep the borders, port, and inland transport routes open. This has helped to ensure that the continent's agricultural and food system retains some resilience. Also, there are new opportunities and acceleration of trends. For example, the embracing of digitalization right along the value chain with restrictions on movement, interacting with farmers and value chain partners digitally are becoming more important. How can DIT help? DIT can help through referrals, promotion, advisory, lobbying, financing, trade policy. We have a 6-month forward program of webinars and virtual trade mission to the region. Here are some key opportunities in Africa. But for today's presentation, I'll be focusing on 3 of our Eastern African markets, namely Ethiopia, Kenya, and Tanzania. Why Ethiopia? Ethiopia is one of the fastest growing economies in the world. Ethiopia is the second most populous country in Africa. There are favorable market access factors in Ethiopia, and also in Ethiopia there are incentives available to foreign companies that are trying to do business in Ethiopia. What are the key facts? Agriculture is the engine of the economy. Ethiopia is endowed with abundant agricultural resources and has diverse ecological zone. Ethiopia has the largest livestock population in Africa, and also in Ethiopia there is a dedicated industrial park for agro-processing. In Ethiopia, there are business opportunities for companies in livestock, agricultural equipment and system, agro-processing, agricultural chemical, and seeds. Tips for doing business. Conducting due diligence is very important. It is also important to appoint local agents, and it is advisable to hire local lawyers to translate local laws. All imports must be channeled through Ethiopian nationals registered as official import or distribution with the Ministry of Trade. It is also very important to build your relationship. Why Kenya? Here is Kenya at a glance. Kenya is a country with an area of over 582 square kilometers, with over 47 million people. Also, Kenya lies on the equator and enjoys a varied climate ranging from tropical to temperate. Also, Kenya is known as one of the biggest financial, logistic, and communication hub in East and Central African region. Kenya is strategically located as a gateway to East and Central African region. It is East Africa's growing economic giant. Kenya has a favorable investment climate, and also there is a strong momentum for agro-processing in Kenya. Policy reform is also enabling competitive agriculture in Kenya. Here are some key facts on Kenya. Kenya is the economy in the Eastern African region, contributing to more than 45% of the region's GDP. Kenya is the fifth largest economy in Africa. Kenya is the second largest population in the Eastern African community at 50 million and is growing at a rate of 2.6% per annum. Kenya has the fourth highest literacy rate in Africa and a strong entrepreneurial tradition. There is a rising trend towards urbanization with increase in consumer demand for high-value goods. 50% of the population is expected to live in urban areas by 2050. Kenya is a middle-class country and is growing in size, with the average gross national income per capita increase at compound annual growth rate of 2% over the past 10 years. 80% of farms in Kenya are small, so this will require unique and creative equipment to mechanize. In Kenya, there are real opportunities for farm inputs, agrochemical production, and supply of quality seeds. There are also opportunities for innovative technologies, information sharing platform, smart farming, fintech, mobile app based, and so on and so forth. Here are some tips for doing business in Kenya. Carry out market surveillance before starting off on a venture to ascertain demand, competition, regulatory, among other things. A market penetration strategy is key. It's good to have local partner, franchising, joint venture are all very important. Joining business association is advisable for advocacy of favorable business environment, for networking, and for other business opportunities. Some critical information on starting and doing business is available online. Visit websites of trade facilitation agency, business membership organization, and so on and so forth. Make use of the support available at the UK Department for International Trade and at the British High Commission. Why Tanzania? Here are some key facts about Tanzania. Tanzania's population is estimated to be over 56 million. The GDP per capita is estimated to be over $1,050, with the growth rate of 5.4% annually. 94.5% millions of acres of the land in Tanzania, 44 million of acres are arable, about only 24% of which is under cultivation. Out of the 50 million acres suitable for livestock, only 26 million acres is under use. Agriculture employs about 67% of the entire population, and it is central to Tanzania's industrialization, as it provides market for industrial products and raw materials for industries. Tanzania has the second largest livestock population in Africa. In Tanzania, the area of freshwater cover is estimated to be over 54,000 square kilometers, which is about 6.1% of the total country's surface area. Tanzania can be a gateway to landlocked countries in Africa. It can be a transport corridor for Zambia, Rwanda, Democratic Republic of Congo, Burundi, Uganda, and sometimes it can be a gateway to Mozambique, Malawi, and Zimbabwe. There are agribusiness opportunity in agricultural mechanization, the seed industry, post-harvest management, agro-processing, financing agriculture, research and development. Tips for doing business in Tanzania. There is the Tanzania Investment Center. This is a primary agency of the government that coordinates, encourages, promotes, and facilitates investment into Tanzania. They also advise the government on investment policy and related matters. Main in-country event, Nani Nane. This is a national public holiday to celebrate farmers. It is celebrated across the country. We also have the Saba Saba. It is an international trade fair, a 2-week trade fair, following with a public holiday on the 7th of July. DIT has relationship with UK companies across a wide variety of subsectors. These are examples of some of the UK agri-tech companies doing business in Africa. We have companies in storage and processing subsector, farm machinery, animal health, crop health and protection. Here is an overview of UK agritech by subsector. We have the plant science, animal science, aquaculture, precision agriculture, and DIT works with a variety of UK companies with capability in each of the subsectors. Here are some tips for new exporters. Prepare well, know your market, test the market where possible. It's always good to have a physical presence. Prepare to adapt. Business culture varies greatly. Select your team to support the customers. Select your route to the market carefully. If it is not working, change without delay. Budget carefully. Manage risk, currency, payment, insurance, and so on and so forth. Network with non-competing partners. And finally, exclusivity is earned. Here are some upcoming shows and trade missions. We have NAMPO Harvest Day in South Africa. The organizers have decided to have a virtual mission this year. It is from the 9th to the 12th of September. Also, we have the Agra Innovate in Lagos, Nigeria. It is from the 25th to the 26th of November. The organizers of this event are planning ahead to go ahead with a physical event. For more information about exporting and to find export opportunities, please visit our website, Exporting is Great. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you very much for listening. Hi, my name is Toyosi Ogunshola.
Thank you very much for that, Toyosi. We're now going to hear from Richard Lamb. So Richard will be sharing his screen and sort of going through his presentation. So Richard, if you wanted to start screen sharing. And
I will, but you need to
fantastic.
stop screen sharing, apparently.
Yep, I will do that. There we go.
Thank you very much. There we go. Oh. Hang on.
No, that's fine. So Toyosi, as presentation was a video that he submitted. I believe he's having internet issues, so we'll try to get some questions that that people have been asking to him at the end. But if we are unable to, we'll sort of deal with that at the time. Okay, so over to you, Richard.
Okay, good morning, everyone. My name's Richard Lamb. I'm the KTP Program Manager at Innovate UK. KTP Knowledge Transfer Partnerships are a long-established program here in the UK. We are celebrating our 45th birthday this year and are the world's longest running knowledge exchange business university interactive program. However you want to frame it, we've been going a long time. So we know what we're doing, and we've been very fortunate. We've got some money from the GCRF, Global Challenges Research Fund, to put towards the creation of African agri-food KTPs. And obviously GCRF, AgriFood Africa, is a much bigger program, and we're a small part of that. The opportunity is that we would like to fund around 24 projects over the next couple of years. We've got £6 million and we've already started. We've already funded 2 projects. We've got 7 in the pipeline and a few more to come. So the opportunity is there. We're up and running. We're live. Funding is for a 24-month project. There's £250,000 available for each project, and that's split 50-50 between the UK and Africa. And what we're looking for are businesses in our target countries, which are Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, and South Africa, to partner with one of their local universities or research institutions and to work with a UK university on a knowledge exchange project. So we're looking for a business that has a challenge that the university, both in country and in the UK, can help solve. It's exactly the same model that we use in the UK, and we want to try and showcase the capability of KTP as a program in each of those countries. Those countries have been chosen because we are utilizing KTN Africa, which is another project that's being set up to support the projects. we recognise that we can't do it remotely from the UK, and we don't want to do it remotely from the UK. As Toyosi said, it's about boots on the ground, getting to know your local market, and we understand that. So KTN Africa are setting up organisations in each of those countries to do other work, but also to support the KTPs. The scope of the project is really, we're looking at the food production in all of its different guises. Smallholders, how you can access global and local supply chains, increasing the value of production for smallholders. We've got projects coming through on pest control, quality standards, and all of these things here. So there's a whole range of topics that you could be looking to solve within that agri-food sector. We're not funding projects on forestry or ornamentals, wild capture fisheries, equine, or crops for energy production. And I'll explain how you can test your ideas right at the very end. If you think you've got an idea, we'll very quickly be able to tell you whether it fits our model or not. This is roughly the model. It's a partnership between a university and a business in one of our host countries, with additional support provided by a UK university. A knowledge transfer advisor, colleagues of Tim's at the KTN, will support each funded project, and each project will be delivered in partnership with KTN UK and KTN Africa. Now, KTN Africa is still in the process of being set up, so things are starting here in the UK, but eventually it will all transfer over to KTN in Africa and have that local support and local knowledge, which we hope will mean that all of our projects are successful. The projects that we've got two approved for funding at the moment. They're the top two, Geospace International with Manchester Metropolitan University, and Savannah and Sahel Commodities Limited, which is the University of York. So that's the UK university. There is an African university in there as well. Both 24-month projects, and both getting very close to the £250,000 limit for each of the projects. But it shows that it is doable, well within budget, and we've also got 7 more projects in the pipeline. These are currently under review, huge range of subjects, and the decision on whether or not we will fund these will be made later this month when our review process completes. Our review process only takes 8 weeks, so once your project is submitted and the competition closes, about 8 to 10 weeks later, you'll get a decision. Okay, so some of the project themes that we've got in the projects that we've seen. So one on satellite data and data sharing and how that impacts on agriculture. The natural predation of pests, quite a theme that seems to be coming through, perhaps not unsurprisingly. Looking at different production methodologies, processing and storage of goods, distribution, and also new ways of working. And where you've got a whole range of different business models, this can be a very powerful way of increasing the sorts of or the routes to market and increasing the efficacy of your business. The submission date, so things to bear in mind. The next one is on 21st of October, although that is still to be confirmed. It certainly won't be any earlier, but you have just about enough time now if you know a business, or if you are a business and you know a university, either in Africa, in one of those target countries, or a UK university, to pull a project together and get it submitted for the end of October, say just enough time to do that. You might be better looking at 3rd of February, which is our next close. After that, although it seems like quite a long time, it's only actually, technically, it's just over 3 months, but you've got Christmas in the middle of that as well. And we know the university's shut down. So you've got time to pull a project together if you fit the criteria that you're an SME business based in one of those countries, and you've got a problem and you can find a university to work with that you can help, that you think can help solve those problems. So what we're looking for is the primary impact of the project should be in Africa. It can be social welfare, gender inclusion, equality, all sorts of other stuff that benefits via the impact is societal as well as economic, and we're looking at those sustainable agricultural practices. We want to enhance innovation in African universities, African businesses, and help them tap into UK university expertise to accelerate that impact. And most importantly for me is to help establish a network of future business leaders and innovators through the recruitment of graduates into our projects that will then become those future business leaders and innovators. We see that happening in the UK all the time. We know that our graduates that have been through the KTP program go on and do bigger and better things than their compatriots. From a knowledge base, so a university and a business perspective, what we're looking for is the African university to deliver that tactical innovation, intervention, and drive the local partnership. The African business will contribute in kind, so we're not looking for you to put any cash into these projects, but you will host the KTP associate and you provide that commercial context and that route to market for the new business approach. We are targeting SMEs, but we will consider large businesses on a case-by-case basis if the benefit can be fed down the supply chain so that other businesses, smaller businesses, can benefit from whatever innovation it is that you're looking to deliver. In terms of exploitation capacity, quite often you need to purchase equipment, and the some equipment can be purchased through the program, and at the end of the KTP, that equipment can remain with the business. So it's an interesting way of delivering that new investment into the business. So we're not only looking at the economic impact, we are also looking at societal change, and you need to balance the two within your application. And the UK university enhances those outcomes by helping deliver some of that strategic innovation and innovation ecosystem expertise. What that means is they know how KTP works, and they will help our African partners understand the KTP model with the long-term hope that KTP, or a version of KTP, can be established in each of those countries. So I talked briefly there about the associate, the graduate that is part of this. They would be based in the African country, but we would hope in the fullness of time that we'll be able to get them over to the UK. We see them as being exactly the same as all of our other associates, so we deliver a 2-week training program. Currently it's being delivered online, but it helps that transition between university and business, and that opportunity is absolutely open to all of our associates wherever they are, and in the fullness of time we would like to think that our African associates can come over to the UK and mix and engage with the associates that are doing KTP here in the UK. And quite similarly, we know that university teams are very keen to get over to Africa and understand what's happening in the host country. So this is a summary of that delivery model. So the UK universities are conduit, the money goes through them. They work with the African university and the associate. So the associate is employed in country and is employed by the university, but works in the business. There's no point this being purely theoretical. It has to be translational, and that's why we have that unique way of engaging. So the associate is driven by solving the problem, but not distracted by other things that may happen within the business. We know that's a model that works. This is the submission process, so you're obviously working towards that, hopefully that date at the end of September or the start of February. So if you are a business and you already have a relationship with a university, whether it's in the UK or in country, you need to think about how it will fit into African Agriculture KTP. And on my next slide, I've got all the contact details that you will need in order to help prepare that initial fact-find form. That fact-find form just gathers information and helps us triage and assess your project, and we will tell you very quickly whether or not it's a KTP. If it is, we will help you shape your full application. If it's not, we will try and help you find other sources of funding or activity that might help solve whatever problem it is you're looking at. So do the fact-find form, it goes to the country lead, then hopefully a full African Agriculture KTP proposal is made. You work with your country lead to develop that submission and your universities, and it is then submitted into the competition by those deadlines. Once the competition closes, the Innovate review process takes place, and hopefully 8 to 10 weeks later, if your project has been successful, and I have to say we've got a very, very high success rate on these at the moment, that your approval letter, your offer letter will be issued. It's all supported, as I say, from the UK at the moment by our knowledge transfer advisors, but over time, when we have our African knowledge transfer advisors in place, they will take over the running of the project. So if you're interested, these are the people you need to get in touch with. If you are thinking about a project based in South Africa, Mohan Ahad or Jerry O'Hagan, they are the people who will help guide you through that process. If you're thinking about Nigeria, it's Ken Frame. If you're thinking about Kenya, it's Joel Ferguson. And if you're thinking about Ghana, it's John Clayton. All of these people have worked in those countries previously, so they have an understanding of the context that you're operating in, and they will work with the KTAs that are recruited as part of Niju's team, who's leading the development of KTN Africa, so that there will be a seamless transition in the fullness of time. But these are the people that can help you develop your projects. I'm going to stop there. I think I'm just about out of time, so I will stop sharing there. I say thank you very much for listening. If you've got any questions, drop them into chat or the Q&A, and we will see what we can do to help.
Excellent. Thank you very much for that, Richard. I'm just going to jump into the presentation, so just bear with me a moment while I share my screen. I'm going to be talking about the Innovation Awards and just sort of giving you an update on that. Just to remind you that you can ask questions in the chat. There's sorry, in the Q&A box, please, and we will try and get through as many as we can before the end of the session. So I'm just going to be talking about the Innovation Awards, which we are launching soon. I'll talk primarily about what those are. We'll have a very brief discussion about round 1, which has happened already. We'll be talking about round 2, which is the upcoming Innovation Awards, and then I'll give you all the details that you need, including dates for that. So firstly, I guess, what are the Innovation Awards? And these are collaborative pump priming pieces of work which are designed to encourage UK universities to address some of the agri-food challenges that we've been hearing about over the last weeks and months within Africa. And this is a defined piece of research and of innovation work, and it must show the potential for a positive impact on poverty. What we're looking for is this collaborative piece where we have a long-term relationship with an African partner, and so we are looking really for follow-on projects, hopefully at the outset of this. And of course, these must all comply with ODA guidelines and be aligned in that way. So what's the scope of these awards? Well, the scope is quite broad and fits very much within the wider GCRF AgriFood Africa, which includes the Agritech Catalyst Round 10, the KTPs, which we've just heard about. But it does include primary crop and livestock production, and includes aquaculture, which I was very happy about because aquaculture is sort of my area of focus, and obviously I have a passion for that. But we also do look at not just production, but we're also looking at the availability and accessibility of safe, healthy, nutritious foods. So the challenges that occur in food processing, distribution, storage, value addition, those are key areas that are included. And then also the non-food use of crops, but excluding ornamentals and crops for energy use. So these innovations, these projects must be sustainable in the context of environmental challenges, and we're looking particularly at climate change and mitigating and adapting to that threat, resource scarcity, things like that. The projects have to minimize the negative effects of pollution, food loss and waste, and promote safe, healthy, nutritious diets. So as I mentioned, there have been 2 rounds of funding. We have 800,000 in total across the 2 rounds, supporting up to 20 awards. And we're looking for different partners. So I'll go through that in a moment, but we're looking for a UK university and an African partner. That's sort of the standard application. And in a sense, if you wanted to look at this, you could have a feasibility study, you could have an industrial research project, a social distance study. We are quite flexible so long as these things are within scope. Let me just run through the type of partnerships that we are looking for. So we'll start with the African partner. And what we're looking for here is an industrial company, an SME or larger. It could be an agricultural cooperative or a farming group, a research centre from CGIAR as an example. And we can have multiple African partners, so that wouldn't be an issue, but we are looking for sort of relevance for the African partners. So we don't want passengers effectively. So you can have multiple African partners so long as there's a good reason for the project there. In terms of the UK partner, what we're looking for is a research institution. Classically, this would be a university, but it could be an RTO, and they will administer the funds, including any African partner costs. So there has to be an eligible principal investigator in the UK, but I should mention that early career researchers are encouraged as part of the project, so it may be that you add that into your proposal. If you do have any questions about eligibility in terms of partnership, then do let us know, send us an email, let us know by the 2nd of November 2020. In terms of where the African partners come from, these are the eligible countries. It's very similar to the Agritech Catalyst, so you would probably be familiar with that. I'll leave this here for a moment, and you can rewatch this on YouTube and pause at this point if you need to take note of the countries. So let me just go through round 1 before we go on to round 2. So round 1 was opened in December last year and closed January this year. We had 34 applications, and we awarded 13, although one has had to drop out due to COVID. So 12 in total, and £40,000 each. And these projects will be finishing by November next year, by the end of November. And it was a very balanced portfolio. Like I said, we wanted to make sure we captured the broad range of the scope. So it's different areas, different sectors, and also different countries within Africa. So we're very pleased with that round. These are the winners. You can have a look at this. You can see that there's quite a broad range there of sectors and different partners as well. We're very pleased with our portfolio. I'll just highlight this project, which we did hear a highlight about. We heard an update about this back in the beginning parts of these missions. So if you wanted to watch that, you can. It's cassava bags for improved gari making efficiency, and this was run by Ben Bennett from the University of Greenwich from the NRI, and he had 3 African partners on board to deliver this program. So round 2, I'm sure this is of interest to people. So this is going to be very similar to round 1. So I just flag that up, that a lot of what's happened was relevant to round 1 is also relevant to round 2, so you can have a look at that. There are going to be 9 awards of £40,000, and the eagle-eyed amongst you would have noticed that the numbers don't quite add up. Silver lining, because of COVID, we've added to squeeze out another award, so we're very pleased that we can fund 9 this time round. There's some differences which are likely to happen, that we'll probably make some of that funding available for African partners. So if they have costs associated with the delivery of these awards, then they can look to claim some of that, but it would be administered through the UK partner. We are still going to ring fence £5,000 for travel, but we are just adding the caveat there that because of COVID-19, we will be flexible if we need to be. So we are aware of that, and we will tackle that as we need to. And the funding is claimable. Well, we're looking to change how we do some of the funding. So we want to make some of the funding available earlier on in the life of the project, the program, so towards the beginning of the program. And we are working those details out, and we will let you know of those. So that's some of the changes to this second round of funding for the Innovation Awards. So I just wanted to highlight these 3 points because on reflection of the applications that we received, these are critical areas that I think you should be aware of. So you must contribute to enhance food and nutrition security, the welfare of the poor in urban and rural areas, and be of benefit to women and girls, very much those ODO compliance that we talked about. But I highlight that because there's a key learnings, if you like, from our last round of funding. So on to the dates now. So we're opening this competition on September the 15th of this year. And we will be closing it November the 10th at midnight. I put that in there at midnight because if we receive any applications on the 11th, even a minute past, unfortunately, we won't be able to consider them. So do please get your applications in by then. We'll give you a decision in time for Christmas to celebrate, and then we will be looking at these projects to start next year, sort of end of June, and finish by July 31st, 2022. So I will now talk a little bit about the assessment and what we're looking for. We're going to assess these based on the criteria that we've talked about on the scope and whether they meet those requirements. And it'll be primarily the KTN AgriFood team that will be doing that, but we will also be using some independent experts and getting sign-off from Innovate UK and DFID to help us with this. Further details of this entire process, some of the forms and how to apply, things like that, they are going to be made available on our website. They're not quite there yet because we're still finalizing a few of those details. As a guide, you could look at the round 1 details, which are on our website. You could also sign up to our newsletter. I've put that in bold there because that's a key point. If that's where sort of the first a lot of people will hear about, we've launched them now and the details are there. So do sign up to that. And if you did have any queries, then you can obviously contact us. Our emails here at the bottom. So I hope that gives you some insight into these awards. We're very happy that we can launch these, and we look forward to sort of engaging and seeing the applications come in. We're now going to go over to a Q&A session with all our speakers. So if I could ask Richard and Toyosi to unmute yourselves, and we'll try and hit as many of these questions as we can. I can see that they've come in. I'm going to go to the Q&A box, and I'll start with the first one. So Toyosi, are you there? I know your internet's not fantastic, but a first question for you is, do DIT have representation in Rwanda?
Yes.
Yes, perfect. I like that question. Let me just bring up the chat function. Well, actually, let me ask a question for Richard whilst I find another question for Toyosi. So is a membership to KTN Africa open or closed? How can one be a member? I presume that means KTP Africa. So Richard, did you want to take that one?
I don't know. We have no barriers to people working in KTP. If you've got a good project, we'd like to hear from you. So I'm not quite sure the nature of that question. So perhaps
Okay, well, I mean, let me
could
just
refine
pick up
that.
on that. I think in terms of if it's KTP Africa, if it's part of the Africa program that we're working on the GCRF here, then that's an open invitation for you. So just sign up to our membership, and you can join.
Tim, I think it might be worth mentioning that if it's the broader KTN Africa component headed up by Niju that I think Richard mentioned, that too is open for them.
Yeah, basically we're very open. We want to engage with you. So Richard, will African KTPs be offered in other sectors, i.e. energy? This is a question from Mark Spratt.
Unfortunately, there's no plans to do that at the moment. This is very much a pilot. But if more funding was made available, we can work in almost any sector, and indeed are willing to work in almost any country. Fantastic.
We've had a couple of questions just about this, the material being available after the session. This will be on YouTube. We'll put it up there shortly, so you can rewatch this and pause at your convenience. So you can do that if you need to. So question from Simon Holland to Toyosi. Could you say more about how companies can go about accessing aid-funded business opportunities?
Thank you, Tim. At DIT, we don't really do too much of funding. That is done by DFID, and also that is done by our innovation centers when it comes to accessing funds. But what I can do is I can introduce them to their regional trade advisors. These are experts in accessing funds. So if they're not already in contact with their regional trade advisor, I could easily introduce them, and they know more about the funding bits.
Okay, thanks very much, Toyosi, for that. So Richard, a question for you from Jenna Ross from CHAP. Can an RTO, the Agri-Tech Centre, be the UK academic partner?
Absolutely. There is a process that you need to go through, a short application process to become one of our knowledge bases. Just means we've got all your information captured on our system and you agree to our terms and conditions. But yes, absolutely.
Fantastic. Richard, staying with you, I've got a question here from Adeneya. Sorry, I'm sure I'm mispronouncing your name there. Can a university in Africa be a partner?
If they're in one of the 4 countries that we're targeting, yes.
Yep. And can KTP Associates be a postgraduate student and based in Nigeria?
I think there's a couple of layers to that question. The short answer is yes. Nigeria is one of our countries. If a postgraduate student is required for that post, then they would be an ideal choice. But we do ask that a demonstrably open and fair recruitment process is undertaken, which means that you have to advertise the post to make sure that you are giving the business and the university, both in country and in the UK, the best chance to find the right person for that project. And it is unreasonable to assume that because you are a graduate on a course at that university, you might be the best person for that job. So we do ask that there is a robust recruitment process undertaken to find that associate. But the short answer to the question is yes.
Thanks, Richard. Thanks for that. Thanks for elaborating. That's really helpful. One question here from Hitesh, just about the Innovation Awards. Is a project which looks at food waste and developing biodegradable plastic in scope? Hitesh, I guess in answer to your question, we would need to see, yes, it could be, but we would need to see that this is directly tackling food waste and not developing sort of biodegradable plastic, if that makes sense, because that it has to is agri-food is the sort of general scope, if you like, of this call. So just to bear that in mind. I do have a question here for Toyosi, which I know that when you looking through your presentation, you talked about COVID-19. And I just think, you know, it would be worth perhaps elaborating a bit on that, and just how do you see COVID-19 impacting on future trade opportunities for UK businesses and African businesses, and trying to develop that. So seriously, would you be able to sort of share your thoughts on that a bit more?
Thank you, Tim. I think, well, COVID-19, I don't know if I'm saying it right, is bringing a lot of opportunity for some of the UK companies, because like I mentioned in my presentation, agriculture and agricultural produce have been made essential. So there's no reason why UK companies or any other company cannot export into Africa right now. So they're just doing everything to make sure that they keep the ports open. And due to the way of the restriction and what they've learned from COVID-19, I think food sustainability is very high on the agenda. So this is a very good opportunity for UK Agritech.
Thanks very much, Toyosi. That's interesting to hear. Yeah, and I think we'll probably wrap up this session now. It's clear that there are plenty of opportunities out there for businesses that are looking to innovate within the agri-food sphere, and particularly with focusing on Africa. These are just some of the opportunities that are available. We do, of course, have the Agritech Catalyst Round 10, which is, you know, one that you may want to look at. You can find details on our website. And I'd just like to thank all our panelists for coming and presenting. Really interesting session, and I look forward to continuing this conversation. And for those of you that will be joining us for the livestock and the crops discussion, we will shortly see you there. So thanks very much, everybody, for coming.